So the game finishes Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1, but that is a much better point for Chelsea, who were the better team when it was 11 versus 11, and a better team when it was 10 versus 11. The biggest compliment I can give Chelsea today is they went down to 10 men, and to be honest, I didn't notice much of a difference. Of course, Arsenal missing key players in Gabriel and Saliba, and that was noticed, but Chelsea's most important player got sent off. It's not only that Chelsea went down to 10 men, the most important and best player, Moises Caicedo, got sent off. They also don't have Cole Palmer, who you'd argue is their second best player, and they still put in that kind of performance against Arsenal. Enzo Maresca in these big games, Barcelona, PSG, Arsenal, the Liverpool game, has been tactically phenomenal, and I think he scored Arteta today tactically. I thought that Chelsea were absolutely incredible, and one guy we need to have a serious conversation about is Reece James, best right back in the world and the best midfielder on the pitch today. There's all this Declan Rice versus Moises Caicedo talk, but Reece James was the best midfielder on the pitch. The fact that Moises Caicedo gets sent off and you didn't notice is because of Reece James. He was absolutely phenomenal. And I have to say, Chelsea, I am sorry for underestimating you. I wasn't sure about Chelsea. I didn't know if they had the experience, the mentality. But I've watched Chelsea today and I've watched Chelsea versus Barcelona. And I think that this Chelsea side can do big things this season. There's a part of me that goes, well, it would be classic Chelsea to go and drop points to Leeds. But I look at Chelsea in the big games and they're phenomenal. It's the small games they've got to get those points over the line. But Chelsea have a good team. Chelsea have something special. Moises Caicedo being out is a blow, but Santos is a phenomenal player. They've got so many good options. And I think defensively there's been questions over them, but Chalobah was great. Sanchez, who I've given a lot of stick to, was fantastic today, and he's really stepped up. So let's talk about Chelsea, Arsenal, and let's give you my thoughts on the game, because this was a huge result for Chelsea. Chelsea haven't beaten Arsenal for a long time. Arteta's actually unbeaten at the Bridge with 4 draws and 3 wins. So I think 3 points would have been huge for Chelsea, because if Chelsea get the 3 points, they completely reduce the gap between them and Arsenal as well. And I think it would have been more interesting for Chelsea to put forward the title race. But I think when you go down to 10 men, it's about just not losing and not letting Arsenal get those extra 3 points over you. And Chelsea didn't lose. And the thing about Chelsea is, when you look at the Brighton game, when you look at the Man United game, when Maresca went down to 10 men, I looked at his subs and I thought that was awful from him, and I gave Maresca a lot of criticism, but I'm apologising to Maresca right now, because he saw that even with 10 players, Chelsea was still causing Arsenal problems and he didn't go ultra defensive. I think the sub of Esteval to Garnacho made sense. Maybe you want a bit more experience. I know Garnacho's also young, but he's a bit more experience than Esteval when you're down to 10 men. And you know with Garnacho and Neto, they run more than any other wingers in the world. As good as Esteval is, I think that made sense. I like that Maresca didn't go and park the bus. He went at Arsenal before they're missing their 2 best centre-backs. They're gettable. And they played 60-plus minutes with 10 men. And for me, Chelsea were more threatening at times. They were the better team at times. I thought that Chelsea looked sharper, more aggressive. Maybe Chelsea's naivety and lack of experience is showing with all the red cards, because when they are aggressive in games, they cause issues. But this performance, I think, said to Arsenal, we're just as good as you. We're going to try and come for you in this title race. You haven't ran away with it yet. 10 players, not losing any player to a red card, but Caicedo of all players, obviously Palmer being out as well. We can talk about Gabriel and Saliba being out, but Chelsea had Palmer and Caicedo out for that game. Both teams had key players out, and Chelsea were phenomenal. I think this was Arsenal's worst performance of the season. I thought Merino was fantastic. I thought Merino was everywhere, but I thought that I've seen Arsenal play a lot better than that. And I thought Chelsea won that midfield battle, even without Caicedo. We're all talking about Caicedo Rice, but Reece James won that midfield battle, so we have to talk about him. 1 assist, 3 crosses, 2 key passes, 1 big chance created, 2 long balls, 1 shot, 50 touches, 11 duels won. 11 duels won. Guys, do you know how nuts 11 duels won is? Nuts. And on top of that, he got the assist, he made a cross, he made 2 key passes, he created a big chance, 100% dribbles, 100% tackles won, 100% ground duels won. It's not like he's won 11 duels and gone for 20, 100% of his ground duels won. 11 duels won, people. Reece James was monstrous. Reece James is world class. World class. Chelsea were fantastic today. I knew Chelsea were good. I knew they'd have a decent season. But I tell you what, I underestimated Chelsea a little bit. They had a few bad games, and I wrote Chelsea off, and I apologise. Enzo Maresca, I apologise. I gave him a lot of stick after Man United for his tactics, but his tactics in big games have been phenomenal post Man United and Brighton. I apologise, public apology. But Reece James, with one of the best performances I've ever seen. Because you've got to remember, he's in midfield. He's doing two-man's jobs because Caicedo's been sent off. That is one of the best performances I've seen. He won duels, he created chances, he controlled transitions, he was elite in midfield. I thought Subamende had his worst game on an Arsenal shirt for a while, and I think Subamende and Declan Rice have been phenomenal. A right back playing centre mid, that's a world-class centre mid. You know when you can play right back and be the best right back, and centre mid and be the best centre mid, you know that's a world-class player. Jurriën Timber's a fantastic player, but he's not better than Reece James. When you actually go trait by trait, with Reece James and Timber, I think as a defensive right back, Timber's phenomenal. But if you go trait by trait, Reece James is better at more traits. Reece James is the best right back in the world. He's a phenomenal midfielder, and he was the best player on the pitch today. The Arsenal midfield could not deal with Reece James today. Even though Caicedo had gone, they could not deal with it. Reece James is a captain. And when you go down to 10 men, it's not just the performance of your captain you need the communication of your captain. You need the leadership of your captain. And Reece James absolutely delivered that. Reece James absolutely delivered that. He was completely mentoring those Chelsea players. The same with Maresca on the sideline, giving them instructions. The organisation of Chelsea was fantastic. The way they got behind the ball was fantastic. The way that Chelsea were in and out of possession, the communication, the way that they set up was fantastic. And Reece James not only delivered a world-class performance, he delivered a leader's performance. He was pointing at players where to be. He was pushing his team up. He was bringing belief into his team. Yes, they're top of the league. Yes, we're down to 10 men. Yes, it's Caicedo of all players sent off. We haven't got Caicedo. We haven't got Cole Palmer today, but we can do this. The mental side of Reece James's performance was phenomenal. The physical side, the assists, the winning everything in midfield, never looking flustered was fantastic. When you think of the injuries that Reece James has gone through, when you think of everything that Reece James has gone through, and you look at his performance and what he produced today, you think, wow. Because he was targeted by Arsenal. Arsenal fouled him constantly. Arsenal pushing him off the ball, and he still ran the game. The amount of times he was fouled by Arsenal, the amount of injuries and setbacks he's had, a right back playing in midfield, lost Caicedo's, got to do it all himself, is being targeted, and he goes and he protects the back line like that, who had a very good game. Shout out to Chalobah and Merino. He was progressing play. He set the tone physically. This was a physical match. Arsenal-Chelsea was a physical match, and I like that. That's proper Premier League, and he set that tone. He calmed the team down after Caicedo's red. Chelsea didn't feel Caicedo's absence. The biggest compliment I can give Chelsea and Reece James today is when Caicedo went off, I didn't know it was a 10v11. It still felt like 11v11. And that is where Reece James stepped in. He was absolutely nuts. But we've got to give Enzo Maresca credit. Another big game where Maresca completely nailed his tactics. Phenomenal. Arteta was questioning what to do. Phenomenal. I thought the Garnacho sub was smart. I thought his calls were smart. He was still hitting Chelsea in transition. Maybe he should have kept João Pedro on and not brought on Delap. I thought that João Pedro was having a really good game. But the pressing structure, the transitions, the shape after the red, spot on. You look at the Brighton game, you look at the United game, he did not manage them well. But with 10 men against an Arsenal side, he could have sat back. He could have played pussy football, but he was brave on the ball. And Chelsea was still attacking. And there was points where I thought Chelsea could win this game. He made Arteta look uncomfortable. He made Arteta question what to do next. And not many managers do that. Phenomenal from Maresca. And you've got to give Maresca credit. These big games, Maresca's been fantastic. These big games, he's been absolutely fantastic, Maresca. And you've got to give him credit. And I look at Chelsea, and I think they look like a real team now. The mentality shift is there. They weren't panicking after the red card. They were calm. Arsenal, for me, the most physical team in the league, and Chelsea went there and competed with them physically. Tactically, fantastic. Chalobah and Fofana was brilliant. Chalobah's been fantastic lately, and he's playing left centre-back and he's right footer. Sanchez has been Chelsea's most improved player this season, A lot more reliable. This is a kind of performance that you want. I'm not saying that Chelsea are in a title race, but I think if Chelsea lose today, the title was Arsenal's, but Chelsea's keeping the title race alive. And Chelsea's showing that they can go levels with Arsenal. And Trevor Chalobah was fantastic. He made some good runs with the ball. He defended incredibly well. He got the all-important goal. And this draw will mean a lot for Chelsea. Arsenal will take the point. No Gabriel, no Saliba, away from home. If they still have the same lead from ahead of Chelsea. But this is a better result for Chelsea when you look at the circumstances. When you look at 10 men and the way that Chelsea performed, this was a phenomenal result for Chelsea because they're making Arsenal look uncomfortable. It wasn't just 1 point for Chelsea, it was a statement. It was a message to Arsenal of we're good. It was a message of this is what we can do. And Maresca's proving himself as an elite coach again. Absolutely fantastic from Chelsea. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.